Hi, I'm Greta Oliver. Welcome to the Educate You podcast, your roadmap to learning tips, techniques, and strategies to enable your student to successfully navigate the road to and through higher education. Welcome in, everyone. Today's guest on the Finding Your Advocates episode of Educate You is Dr. Kweneshia Price. She serves as an educator, mentor, coach, and encourager to the students she encounters daily on the campus of North Carolina Central University. In her role, she serves as the director of the Aspiring Eagles Academy and a lead academic coach, where she has had the pleasure of supporting the needs of a unique and diverse group of students. Her goal as a professional is to continue to be an advocate for students and to provide them with the guidance, skills, and tools to be successful. She has had the privilege of supporting hundreds of students in her years as an educator. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Price to Educate You.
Thank you so much, Dr. Oliver. This is a pleasure. I'm looking forward to the conversation and how we can just really bridge this gap for access for our students and really our students and parents. It's a holistic process.
Absolutely, absolutely. I'm excited about it as well. I'm so glad and honored to actually have you with us today. So we're going to just jump right in there because you've been doing good things, big things, wonderful things
Yeah.
to support students for years. And so I just want to know how all that happens.
Yeah.
What is your current role?
Mhm.
And do you consider yourself an advocate for students?
Yeah, absolutely. So my current role, I serve as the director of Aspiring Eagles Academy, which is our premier summer bridge program at North Carolina Central University. It's our only one. So I'm the only director to do so through this work.
Mm-hmm.
Where we focus on underrepresented students, first generation college students, students of rural communities. And it starts off as a cohort model. We follow them throughout their matriculation until they graduate. I
Okay.
also manage our academic coaches and work with students on that need academic recovery. So they have GPAs of 0.00 to 1.99. We also do proactive coaching. So coach students that are first or second year students or just need some referral and coaching and guidance. So
Mm-hmm.
I have three jobs, but
Okay.
um,
Wow. Three jobs in one.
Right, three jobs in one, really. But those are my two primary jobs, and then I also teach our freshman seminar course at NCCU, so where I've been an adjunct instructor for 7 years now.
Okay. Okay. So, what it sounds like, I want to make sure I got this right. When students come to Central,
Mm-hmm.
are they immediately put in Aspiring Eagles, or
No,
do you choose students from the entire group to be in that?
that's a really
So,
good
how does that
question.
work?
Yes, that's a really
Okay.
good question. So we accept students. So it's because the cohort model only limited to 60 students.
Okay.
So that may not seem like a lot, but it is a lot
Yes, it is.
within a cohort model. But
Mhm.
I work with diligently with undergraduate admissions to pretty much see who qualifies. So
Okay.
because we're in 2022, post COVID, I always say we're still in COVID, but
Hmm.
education and the admissions of college applications, you don't need standardized testing. That used to be a factor for us. It's no longer a factor. So pretty much
Hmm.
any student is can get into our program if they're an in-state student. But
Okay.
so pretty much if a student applies to NCCU and gets accepted, we encourage students to apply to Aspire Eagles Academy. And once they apply, our committee interviews them, does a virtual interview, and based off of the recommendations, we make a decision. And
Okay.
the factors, there's so many factors and variants. So, a lot of people assume that if a student has a 3.9 cumulative GPA in high school, that, oh, they don't need summer bridge. That's
Hmm.
not true. Uh,
Okay.
so I like to look at a melting pot of students. So,
Okay.
students that barely graduated high school, and they directly need the transition support.
Right.
But then also students
Right.
that high achieving, but they need the non-cognitive components of being successful at NCCU.
Okay.
So it's some varied facets, but how we choose them is based off of um, once they get accepted to the university, they qualify. So if they're in state, if they're first generation or from a
Hmm.
rural community, then they can apply. And so,
Okay.
of course, I felt filter through. A
Hmm.
lot of people want to get into the program, but unfortunately, I only have a select few. But we do intend on scaling it up because it has
Okay.
been successful. And so, within that, because we have a cohort model and following through their matriculation until they graduate, the large number of students starts to grow. So we have
Right.
but I technically have 158 students that's in the Star Eagles Academy from a freshman to senior level.
Got you. Got you. Okay. So that really makes it all clear because I didn't know how these students came to you,
Yeah,
but because you have students of different abilities, you
yeah,
have they basically have to have some criteria that
of course.
allows them to be able to apply, which would be an in-state student, right?
Mhm.
Maybe a first generation student, something like
Yes.
that. Different qualifiers, and then if they meet those criteria, then they are able to apply, and then you kind of go through, all of the dirty work, boy, just to go through and see all what that person is all about, what
Right.
makes
So
up
that
that student.
process. Hmm.
Okay, and then you get 60 from the incoming freshman class,
Yes.
correct?
Yes.
But because you're
Yes.
following them through, you end up with more as they're going
Yes.
from their summer bridge program all the way through graduation.
Yes.
Is
And
that
so
correct?
there's yes, yes, Dr. Oliver,
Mhm.
you are on point.
I'm trying to listen.
You are on point. So
Okay.
have co-curricular activities and
Hmm.
some structures that keep students accountable. So we have study hall throughout the semester.
Right. Right.
Students
Absolutely.
weekly, and I work with students one-on-one. So
Okay.
I want to go back to your initial question. You asked, how did I know I was an advocate?
Okay.
I knew I was an advocate before I even started as a educator. I started off my
Hmm.
career after I graduated Norfolk State from my bachelor's. I started off in nonprofit, so I've always wanted to serve people. Um,
Right.
I, I think that everybody needs access to something,
Right.
and
Yes.
so somebody, not everybody can advocate for themselves. But I
Hmm.
always believe that I always had a talent or this superpower, this strength about me that was able to advocate and be a voice for the voiceless. So
Okay.
I just
Okay.
wanted to go back to
Absolutely.
that because I didn't answer that question.
Okay, but that's okay. I'm getting it. You are an advocate. You don't even have to really explain how right now because I can see it. And so it's for me. I was in a role that was very much like yours, actually. When I was at Ohio University, primarily it was scholarship groups, though, and
Mhm.
then we also had students who were not on scholarship that we kind of work with from their beginning to the end. So I kind of get everything that you're doing, and I know how you can kind of take these students on. It's kind of like your own kids, almost, don't you?
But they are not if they are.
Yes,
They do call me Mama Price.
yes,
Um,
I'm sure they do. I'm sure they
yeah,
do.
before I even had my son, they're like, "Yeah, just know we were your babies first." I'm like, "Yes, y'all were."
Yes,
So
absolutely, absolutely. So that's wonderful. I'm glad to see that you have that program in place, and I'm also really glad to see that it's going to grow, and that way you'll be able to assist along with someone else in maybe a similar role,
yes,
um, others or more students that need help because so many students need help,
you
and
know,
I know that since you have limited amount that you can accept,
Mhm.
some people aren't going to get into the program, and so
So,
what about those people? What happens to those people at NC?
NCCU. So yeah,
Right.
um,
Hmm.
so there is several living learning specialized programs for like
Okay.
African American Male Initiative, which is AAMI, is primarily it is for Black men or
Okay.
males, well,
Okay.
no men of color really.
Right. Okay.
We have a group of students a group that's for first generation females. Um,
Okay.
we have our honors programs and Cheatham White merit-based scholarship. So it's not just, we all are, a part of these subgroups, but
Yes.
um, in addition to that, every first year student has to take a freshman seminar course.
Yes.
And
Absolutely.
intentionally, where the instructors are professionals at NCC.
Yes. Yes.
So that also can provide a pipeline for students to really, hey, I'm really having some issues. I don't know
Mm-hmm.
how to talk to this bio professor, but I know how to talk to you. So what would you suggest?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So
Absolutely.
although I have Aspire Eagles Academy, but I also work with students that are on probation. So I
Okay.
always have subgroups. And
Mm-hmm.
along with that, in teaching freshman seminar course, I just, they come and
Yes. Yes.
I treat them like I would treat Aspiring Eagles Academy.
Gotcha.
Because I know
Gotcha.
for certain that it's going to be successful.
Mm-hmm.
I come from a military background as far as my parents, and I married someone else in the military. So as far as structure and order,
Right. You
you
got
know,
it. Mm-hmm.
it,
Mm-hmm.
it creates success. And
Right.
so
Right.
I think that providing that structure and order and along with providing a personality in that safe space,
Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
being nurturers of these students,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
then showing that you care, like you genuinely care
Yes.
for
Yes.
your success, not just for your academics, but I holistically need you to be successful. I need that.
Absolutely.
And
Yes.
so that is how I so in doing so, just like, when people refer, when they, somebody's good at what they do, students do the same thing. So,
Mm-hmm.
I get this all the time where students will say, hey, Dr. Price, I know this person not in AA, but they need some help too, like you did for us. Can you talk to this person?
Right.
Sure.
Right.
So
Right. Right. Mm-hmm.
doors are always open. But
Mm-hmm.
I do understand that I always believe that every student needs somebody.
Oh,
You
definitely.
can't do this journey by yourself. You know,
Absolutely, absolutely. That's one of the things that I've been saying and will continue to say. Everybody needs somebody,
mm-hmm.
especially in a new situation, like when they're coming to college, when these transitional type issues, things
Yes.
when you have not done this before, you don't know what the rules are, or you don't know what the norms are. So
Mm-hmm.
you need somebody that will be able to reach in there, kind of give you a guidance and a
Or
little hand,
sometimes pick you
and
up
kind
out of
of
the.
sometimes a little strong
Mm-hmm.
assist. We're gonna call it an assist. And
Yes.
so I get that, and I'm so happy that they have programs, yours as well as the other ones that they have on campus, where
Mm-hmm.
students can get plugged into what
Yes.
they need, and they also have the ability to still go between programs and get
Yes.
help if they are not feeling like they are getting it, or they need a different kind of help, or they need another listening ear. They can go and find you or somebody like you,
Mm-hmm.
that will be able to assist them as well. And so that is wonderful. I love that. And so you start with the students when they come to the bridge program that's right before their freshman year, right? Is that the
Yes.
way it works? Okay, and
Yes.
so so you get to know them, they get to know you, they get
Yes.
to know one another. So that also provides them with a bit of structure, and also some socialization
Yes.
to what college is all about before they even really get there as a freshman. So that's
Mm-hmm.
also really key in helping in that transition, because in the transition when they first go to college, if they have not had the opportunity to take advantage of maybe a summer program or meet other people, that transition can be a lot harder, especially when you're coming by yourself and you don't know others. And so all of this is just a beautiful model that, it would be a good idea if it was in place at a lot, and really all universities, regardless of
I'm a.
whether it's NCCU or
Mm-hmm.
whatever. And so
Mm-hmm.
that is just wonderful, wonderful news. And so, what other kind of advocates besides you? What other things what other places would you suggest that students coming to college for the first time would take advantage of? Where do you send them? What kind of services do you point them toward?
Absolutely. So if there was a student that, hey, I'm coming to NCCU and I'm not in a program, but where would you direct me? I
Hmm.
first would start off with um, your advisor, finding out who your
Hmm.
advisor is, formulating that relationship.
Hmm.
That's on a business level, right, for a student.
Right.
But on the socialization of a student's experience,
Hmm.
start off with your RA. Start
Right.
off
Right. Hmm.
start off with your RA. Start off with connecting and meeting with your own peers. So you're going to have a
Hmm.
roommate.
Right.
If you're nervous and scared, a lot of our students currently, with the pandemic, as far as just this social integration and soft skills, really, uh,
Yes.
is very challenging. And so
Hmm.
the fear of rejection, not wanting to, talk. If you talk to somebody, they'll reject you, you know,
Yes.
or
Hmm.
even just the social anxiety is so high right now.
Right. Absolutely.
And,
Absolutely. Hmm.
and so what I always suggest students to do, just to kind of practice, even if you don't
Hmm.
have like someone like me in their lives, or or know someone, start off with their roommate, finding
Right.
out who they are, where they come from, what they like, their quirks, things like that, and then also their
Hmm.
RA. Um,
Hmm.
but
Okay.
when they start courses in their classes, get to know your professor. Let the
Absolutely.
professor know your name. Um,
Hmm.
I always tell students, college isn't a gamble, grades isn't a gamble, it's predictable.
Hmm.
And so
Yes.
your effort aligns with what you will receive. And so if
Yeah.
you put in the effort into, hi, my name is Kweneshia Price, I'm in your course.
Hmm.
I I'm excited to learn about X, Y, and Z. And what would you suggest of me getting an A in your class? What is the
Hmm.
special
Hmm.
sauce? One is showing
Hmm.
you're personable. Two, you're
Yes.
you're not scared to communicate. And three,
Hmm.
that means that you're actually willing to advocate for yourself
Yes. Yes. Absolutely.
from the beginning.
Yes. Yes. I would agree with that.
From the
You
beginning. And
know,
so I
I
tell
would
students
agree with
this
that
all the
wholeheartedly.
time. What you all may think, y'all think that's simple, but that actually will be a push between A or B.
Yes, yes, because they see effort, and the thing that I try to point out is that professors are they're human. I mean, I don't know what they're thinking, but they are human. They like when students come up and show interest. They like to be, to have conversations. They have office hours for reasons, and
Right.
so if you can just that little thing can be something that separates you from somebody else, and that puts you as a student in their mind. And
Mm-hmm.
so if you're in their mind and you're between, right between, like on a very, very, very edge between a minus and a B or
Mm-hmm.
whatever, just because you made that effort and they see that you care about your education,
Race is
it
real.
it yes, they can give you grace. They
Yeah.
can give you grace in the grades. I'm telling you because I know I've been an adjunct instructor. I have taught students on the college level. I know that professors are not out to get you. They want to help you. And
Mm-hmm.
most professors, I'm going to say most professors, because I don't like to say 100% of anything,
No, no, no,
but
no.
I'm saying quite a few of the
Yeah.
professors are there for the right reason,
Reason. Yes.
and they are really anxious to
Mm-hmm.
help students, and they thrive on that. that's
Yes.
that's one of the things that as an instructor or a professor or even anybody that works with students, that's something that you just treasure. You
Yes.
treasure the relationships that you can make with your students, and so that does matter. Even the going up, introducing yourself, setting yourself apart,
Yes.
those
From the
things are very
crowd.
important.
Yeah,
Hmm.
so I actually had a student today that just came to my office. She was our work study student,
Hmm.
and I asked her to help me just clean out my office, but I really was just trying to get to know who she was.
Right.
And learning, she's a first year student from Austin, Texas, so don't have any
Hmm.
in North Carolina. And she just asked me about my story and how did I choose to do this? Like, did you know you
Right.
always do this? And I
Mm-hmm.
said, absolutely not. but
Mm-hmm.
my point is, she mentions, sometimes it's really intimidating to talk to people that have like doctorates and, professor.
Mm-hmm.
It's really intimidating.
Mm-hmm.
I said, well, are you intimidated to talk to me now? She's like, no, because you really, in her mind, she's like, oh, you're just cool. Like, you don't really
Right.
act like, I
Right.
said,
Right.
and I said, well, right, right, act
Right.
right.
Right. Yes. Yes.
I said, no, I understand that. I said, if you can just keep that in mind when you talk to other people that's of higher stature, we all are
Yes.
human. We bleed like you bleed. We have
Yes.
stories.
Yes.
And if we chose education, there's a reason why we chose it.
Absolutely.
Most people, there's some people that knew from when they came out the womb, they will be educators.
Right.
My people that I know, we all kind of, found our way into it. And so,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I think, just helping out students understand that
Yes.
we all want you to be successful, but you have
Yes.
to open your mouth for us to know who you are and
Absolutely.
and and
Absolutely.
to guide you in the direction that you see fit. You
Right.
know, yeah.
And so I know you also see like the growth of students too.
Oh my gosh,
That
yes,
you're working with them since the summer program, and you
yes.
see how they can come in and they really are intimidated at first, and they
They
barely
block.
speak. They're very
Mhm.
quiet. They don't have a lot to say. You're like pulling things out of them all the time. But then by the
Mhm.
time they're like a junior, you can't shut them up. It's
Right.
just like it's you can see the progression, you can see the maturity, you can see the growth, and that is also something that is thrilling for
Yes.
educators to see how far these students have come. And then when they graduate, that's a whole nother. That's like
Oh,
the
it's
epitome.
beyond graduation.
Yes, yes.
One
And
of the
then what they do after they graduate.
yes.
And so I'm in that where I'm seeing all of these students and what they have become and the wonderful things that are going on in their lives. And these things
Mhm.
give me joy. And
Yeah.
so all of that, and some of that even gives me more joy than it did when I was working with them. So I don't know
Mhm.
what that says about me, but I just like to see them be successful. And I think you're
Yeah.
probably obviously the same way. And so that's a
Yeah.
good thing as
Absolutely.
well. Hmm. Okay, so what would you say the best aspect of your job is? Yeah.
Very loaded question. The best aspect of my job, my prayer every day is to be a blessing in someone's life every day.
Absolutely. Okay.
And um, the best aspect of my job is truly to see my students succeed. And
Okay.
it
Okay.
doesn't necessarily have to be tangibles, right? So I'm not
Hmm.
saying, oh, well, I had a student that, was doing exceptionally well. She got into a graduate program, which a lot of them do. But
Hmm.
I also want to see, I have a perfect example. And this really gave me so much joy. Yesterday I had a student that uh, we have group meetings. So he DM'd me and he said, hey, Dr. Price, I'm having some trouble, and I would love to talk to you if you have time. I know you're busy, but if you have time. And I always tell students, I can make time. I don't like and I am, but I don't like the assumption that people think I'm so busy I don't have time for you, because that's not
Right.
true.
Right. Absolutely. Hmm.
And so he came to my office and, he was just sharing, what's going on with him and just having this lack of motivation and just needs help and just wants to get some accountability. I said, okay,
Hmm.
cool. And so we literally made a schedule bit by bit, like
Yes.
minute by minute. And this is the time you have free time. And I'm telling him, like, intentionality is important.
Yes. Yes. Absolutely.
Also, let's get away from feelings. We're not going to focus on feelings. Not to
Hmm.
say your feelings aren't valid, but if you want to be successful, you can't aspire and and complete your dreams based off of your feelings. I
Hmm.
don't feel like getting up in the morning because I want to sleep in. I don't feel like doing a lot of things.
Yes.
What you have to do,
Absolutely.
what you have to do in order to see a grateful measure. And so in doing this schedule for him, We started going back talking about high school because it wasn't so long ago he was in high school. He was a freshman. And so I said, what kind of, were you in any sports? He was like, yeah, I did wrestling, football, and basketball.
Right,
So,
right. So he's used to schedules.
right. That was my point.
Yes, yes.
So I said, okay, which sport was the most rigid? Like you could not miss the mark. And so he mentioned wrestling. I said, So imagine with wrestling, you have to be within a certain scale of, weight range in order to wrestle, in order to play. And if you do what you feel like doing, you no longer are part of the scale.
Right.
And so he was like, oh, that makes a lot of sense. I said, okay. So as we're talking about the schedule, it's in going through it as what is realistic and what's not realistic. Don't tell me what I want to hear. Let's talk about what's going to work for you. And he did that. And you just see this light bulb shine. I mean, literally saw like something just clicked for him. That is what I love to see.
Absolutely.
And so
light bulb moments. Yes.
These light bulb moments. So it doesn't have to, because small wins are important,
Oh, absolutely.
And so this morning I get a DM at 8:15. Hey, Dr. Price. I woke up at 7:30. I ate my breakfast. I took a shower. No, I went to the gym at 7:15. See, he was so proud of that.
Yes. Absolutely.
He was so proud of it. And he was in study hall. He was like, did you see my DM? I'm like, yeah, I saw it. I'm proud of you. Let's keep this going. So my point,
absolutely.
To answer your question, I was giving you an example, but my point is the best part of my job is to really see the students become somebody they never thought they would be. Being exposed to components of their lives and conversations, exposure to different places and trips and whatever the case may be. They conquer those fears. I'm a believer of college is the best place to mess up and to also gain some of the components that you're fearful of. So if you're fearful of public speaking, you need to start doing public speaking in college.
Right.
Because somebody's always, college is always a safe space. Somebody's always willing to correct you. Because when you go out in the real world, everybody's not going to correct you. Absolutely. And they're not going to want to correct you because they're going to expect you to know these things.
Absolutely.
And so I always preach that everybody want to help a college student. Everybody. I just believe that. That's my belief. Everybody want to help a college student. You see a college student that's eager, that wants to be great, that has the tenacity and the will to be, to get experience. You're going, and you may be tired as a dog, but you're going to actually listen to them. Like, okay, let me help you out. But if you just utilize college as a coasting spot, that is a horrible way to.
Yes. And then you don't get what you need to get out of your college going experience or years. No, and you got to realize this is years that we're talking about that you either can make your way, get on a path to success or not. It's really, like you said, it's up to, being intentional about the choices that you make, doing things that are going to push you forward, making that choice. And so that's the greatest lesson, really, because that's the one that's going to follow you. It's not the history or the art or any of that stuff. It's really learning how to live. It really is.
It's life skills. It's life skills.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Even talking to a young man yesterday, I told him this whole schedule, but the reality is I do the same thing. So I'm telling him, you see my calendar, you see my Apple Watch, and
right. You have to be on a schedule or you'll do nothing.
Nothing.
So absolutely nothing.
Right. So I mentioned to him that I'm a believer of practicing what I preach. I'm never going to be hypocrite. Everything I tell them and everything I tell the students is because I've been there and done that.
Yes.
I guess I failed to mention I barely graduated high school. I barely got through college. So because I barely did it, and I
know what not to do.
Hello.
Okay. You know what? I'm telling you, I see myself in you. I don't know if I said that the right way or if it's the other way around, but anyway, I see it. But I'm telling you, the real reason and the mission and the push that I have trying to help these students and help them to have valuable experiences on
Yeah.
college campus, find your college that fits, go on college visits. Those are the stuff, those are the things that I
Hmm.
did not do.
Oh
So
yes.
I am passionate about it because I know how much of a difference it would
That
have
would
made had I done that.
I didn't
And
have
that's
that
what's so
option.
important about it.
To be honest with you, I did not. Norfolk State was the only option I had. That was it.
Hmm.
Because
Hmm.
when I tell you I barely graduated,
Right,
barely.
I hear you.
So
Hmm.
I did a campus tour, but it was because I knew I was going there.
Yeah.
but 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 I do understand, even
Yes.
with the college campus tours though, and
Hmm.
this is some advice I would give for when these
Hmm.
prospective students that are aspiring to go to college,
Hmm.
ask questions when
Yes,
you go to these college tours. Ask
absolutely.
them how you support students that are suffering from X, Y, and Z. So mental health or COVID
Yes.
restrictions. How do you all
Hmm.
handle whatever? Ask
Yes.
those questions
Yes.
because based off of how they answer is how is their students' experience is going to be.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely. So
yeah.
you are absolutely. So these are the last hurrahs. The what you're going to tell these students. Um, One thing is when they go on trips, college visits, ask pertinent questions about things that matter.
Yes.
Because by getting the answer or non-answer to those questions,
It's still an
they
answer.
can put themselves in that situation and see if I were in the situation where I was struggling and they really don't have a decent answer, then maybe
Right.
they don't have help for people who are struggling, and I might be struggling. So maybe that's not the place for me, right?
Right. And
Okay, so
also
absolutely.
like the areas
Hmm.
of like, so if it's a predominantly white institution, they have,
Hmm.
groups or a center for students of color,
Yes,
so
yes,
they can have a sense of belonging. Um,
yes,
so those things matter, even because I work at a historically black college or university, do we provide particular, components? So I give an example. I had a student that is transitioning from male to female. We do
okay.
have an LGBTQA center. So we
Hmm.
do have resources to provide whatever they need
Right,
because
right. Hmm.
we have that. Not every
Right.
institution does, but
That's
my
true.
point is it don't have to fit every pin, but at least figure out what your top three bottom line
Must
factors are.
have.
Yeah, your
Yes,
must haves,
yes, yes.
despite where you go,
Hmm.
make sure the school is accredited, make sure the program is accredited.
Girl, hello.
Those things are that actually matters
Absolutely.
more than some social things. So
Anything else, really?
yeah,
Because if you're
so
going, why do you want to go to something that's not accredited? I don't even know.
or or
Okay.
even or even like
Hmm.
so another example is if there's a student that wants to be an engineer.
Hmm.
Central is a liberal arts school.
Yes.
ACCU is
Go to
a liberal
A&T.
arts institution. ENT is an
Yes. Go to
institution that
A&T.
specializes in engineering and agriculture. So
Absolutely.
you
Yes.
be intentional on the decision that you make because not to say
Yes.
that you want to, not to say that if things may not shift, but when you
Right.
make decisions and then you come to campus and you say, I want to be an engineer, but you're already here. It's like,
Right. Yeah. Doesn't make
but
much sense.
that's not just to put a little plug. We could assist them, but my point is we don't
Right.
specialize in that.
Yes, I get it. I get it. Absolutely. These are very practical things. And I
Yeah,
think that's what people need to realize. A lot of the questions that you ask, they should be practical questions. They don't have to be, you know, all of this about, really things that don't matter to my personal situation, my life. Okay. So, yes, you want the school to be accredited because why would you be wasting your time otherwise and money? Okay, you would like to, if you have a certain idea of what your major is going to be, even though that could change, at least make sure that they have that
The
major there.
major. Yes.
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 Yes. I mean, just practical things. What kind of support is available on the campus for whatever, X, Y, Z, mental
Mhm,
health, physical health?
mhm.
What is going on this campus that's going to be able to help me to live my life while I'm here the way I need to live my life while I'm here?
Right.
And
Because
so
you're
all of
investing
those things are very,
years.
very practical. They are wonderful bits of
Mhm.
just advice that's just practical. That's what I'm all about. It's like I'm not trying to, you know, do rocket science or, do some kind, get people on the moon. I'm not trying to do that. But for some students, getting to college is like going to the moon. Okay?
No,
So we
it
have
is.
to have a path available for people to be able to follow, a roadmap to be able to
I was literally
follow,
about to
so that
say
you
that.
can get the best out of what you're doing. And you're
Mhm.
not wasting time because, like I said before, we're talking years here. And nobody has time to waste like that, nor money that I know of. I mean, if you got money like that, you could just, drop it at my house and we'll be good. No, I'm just saying, we're trying to make this the best experience. And I know a lot of parents sometimes they don't know, you know,
Yes.
they don't know the path. And if they have gone to college, it was years
It's a
ago.
different experience. It's a
And I
different
mean, it is a whole different ball game. Even as we speak, especially since the pandemic, things are not the same.
mm-mm.
And so everybody, I don't care if you went to college or if you didn't go,
Mhm.
everybody that's looking into this for their student, they could use a really good refresher course as to
Yeah.
what they need to be doing, where they need to be looking, if they need financial aid, what that looks like, what you need to do to be able to secure that.
Yeah.
Where's the money's coming from? Is it going to be from the school? Is it going to be from organizations? Is it going to be from the government? It's just like so many little things that add up to the larger
The
issue
large.
of the
Yep.
student going to school. And so that's why, I'm just so happy that you could come on here and just tell us like it is and what
Absolutely.
you do to help students every day. And it
Yes.
is phenomenal. My hat is off to you.
Thank you
Awesome,
so much.
awesome, awesome educator and advocate for students.
Thank
So
you
I
so
just
much.
want to just thank you so much for coming and joining us today and just giving us some really, really good, pertinent advice.
Well, I appreciate the time and I thank you for inviting me. As I said, I was excited for the conversation and having the conversation.
Hmm.
It's prevalent that this needs to continue
Yes.
because these nuggets and this roadmap that you're providing is something that is essential for the success of these students, despite where they go.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us today on Educate You. If you wish, you can send me your questions or comments about the college going process or the podcast contents by sending an email to Dr. Greta at gretaoliverconsulting.com. Also, beginning each week after the podcast airs, check for a companion blog on my website's blog page at gretaoliverconsulting.com. My book, College Roadmap, Essential Tips for First-Time College Students and Their Families, is available for sale on Amazon.com. Join us next week for another tip or strategy to make the road to higher education easier for your student.